Hello. Well, first of all, I want to tell you I've lost about 100 subscribers in the past 2 weeks. Perhaps it's even been the past 10 days, which is very odd. And it seems to have happened since I started talking about the Chinese virus. Also, not only have the subs been dropping, but also the people watching my videos, they've been dropping too, almost as if they aren't being recommended. I'm wondering whether the subjects I've been choosing have caused some sort of, what would you call it, a blockage in the filtering system that YouTube is using. Because the views on BitChute are completely consistent with all my other previous videos. No dropping and about the same number of viewers. Of course, I don't discount the possibility that there might be a different audience on BitChute, although I don't really think so, but you have to take such things into account. It's still odd, isn't it? Whatever. Please like, subscribe, check your subscription, check that bell, and above all, share, because apparently YouTube aren't. Anyway, I just want to point something out to you Americans. Right at the beginning of the awareness of COVID-19 in, sort of January, when news about this novel virus was just trickling through, not many were that aware of its significance at the time. It was still being thought of as just a new strain of flu. However, there was still quite a lot of information out about it, but hardly anyone was taking that much notice in America because everyone was tied up with the shitstorm whipped up by your Democratic Party in their attempt to get Donald Trump impeached for, reasons. Now, why do you think they were doing that? Well, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I'd say they were in the pay of the Chinese. I'm not. And I don't say that the Democratic Party got instructions from China to divert attention away from the impending doom snaking its way from all points of the compass from China to the United States. But I'll tell you who is in the pay of the Chinese. And that's dear old Auntie BBC, who recently made a hagiographic video telling the world how wonderful Huawei are, and have also made a deal to put BBC TV shows on Huawei devices. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Now, don't you think that makes it somewhat more than coincidental that they're now broadcasting news that Donald Trump was silly enough to tell people to drink bleach? He did not. But some clever editing of his press briefing made it look that way. If you want a rundown of how they did it, I suggest you watch Politico's excellent video on the subject. Again, link in the description. Yes, they've been doing a hatchet job on Trump, the same Trump who was warning the American people about China's economic takeover and untrustworthiness from the beginning of his presidency. Actually, I think he was talking about it during his election campaign as well, so before his presidency then. And according to a report in the Washington Examiner, I'll put a link to that, China's Global Times released a video recently featuring CNN's Chris Cuomo and NBC News' Richard Engel, as well as Hillary Clinton and Bill de Blasio. I'm sure they all did this for absolutely no money at all, completely free, gratis and for nothing. I'm certain of that. And in another video, Global Times has CNN's Chris, now I don't know how you say his name, Chilitsa, maybe, accusing Trump of weaponizing bigotry because he referred to the Chinese virus, no doubt. Again, link in the description. As for the Democratic Party, again, I don't think that they were in the pay of the Chinese. I just think they were so eaten up with vicious revenge that they weren't concentrating. But in their attempt to vent their rage on Trump for showing them up to be the total idiots that they are, the Democratic Party destroyed any chance America had of preparing yourselves better for the impending catastrophe and losing an opportunity to save thousands of American lives. And now let's get back to CNN and MSNBC, NBC and the BBC, because they are definitely trying to prove to their own audience that Trump is a buffoon who can't govern, which justifies their attitude to him. And they're undercutting Trump's authority by selectively broadcasting stuff that makes him look like an utter fool. The fact is, he's not very well informed, but he isn't an utter fool. And during a time when the country needs to come together, I would call this attitude, especially from broadcasting organizations like CNN, this attitude is very little short of treachery. Well, that's my opinion of the American news media who are peddling this narrative of Trump's idiocy. They are certainly playing China's game for them. I'm sure the Chinese Communist Party is very satisfied with their work, and I'm not suggesting that they know that. As for The Guardian, well, I remember the time when hundreds of Guardian readers were enlisted to contact voters in Clark County, Ohio, asking them to support John Kerry against President Bush. The Guardian gave names and addresses of various unregistered voters in Clark County and then passed them on to people who were supposed to write letters telling them that they should vote for Kerry. The Guardian also gave names of organisations who supported Kerry, who they suggested could do with a donation or two. Link in the description. One of the letters to The Guardian ran thus: "My dear beloved Brits," I'm cutting this a little bit, "thank heavens I was adrift in a sea of confusion and you are my beacon of hope. Feel free to respond to this email with your advice. Please remember that I am merely an American. That means I'm not very bright. It means I have no culture or sense of history. It also means that I am barely literate, so please don't use big fancy words. Set me straight, folks." Some of the responses were rather less temperate than that, and The Guardian deserved every golden word of it. If you want to donate or contact, the information will be rolling over the Graniopteryx as I speak. Please like, subscribe and share because it does help with the algorithm. If you visit my channel on YouTube and one day discover that I've disappeared without warning, you'll still find me on BitChute or Minds. Just go to either of those platforms and do a search for Graniopteryx. If you're already watching this on BitChute or Minds, good for you. Meanwhile, if you're watching this on YouTube, Remember that you must keep checking the subscribe and bell icons because occasionally they reset. Till next time.